the Marble Cities, we turn to obituaries, of course, always brought to you by Curtis and Son Funeral Home, the North Chapel on Highway 21 in Sylacauga, and the Childersburg Chapel on Highway 280 in Childersburg. Pre-need, at-need, funerals, burials, and cremation since 1975. Over 50 years is Curtis and Son Funeral Home, your Dignity Memorial Funeral Home provider. In Sylacauga and in Childersburg, families have trusted Curtis and Son Funeral Home for over a half a century. When it comes to their loved ones and family members who pass away, it's Curtis and Son Funeral Home. Pre-need, at-need, funerals, burials, and cremation. Your Dignity Memorial Funeral Home provider is Curtis and Son Funeral Home. Funeral service for Coach Earl Lewis, age 87 of Sylacauga, will be this morning at 11 a.m. from Curtis and Son North, with the Reverend Billy Coleman officiating. Burial in the Evergreen Memorial Cemetery. Coach Lewis died Sunday at his residence, and he was preceded in death by his wife of 56 years and love of his life, Willa Dean Melton Lewis. Coach Lewis, well known in this area, and many people were there at the visitation last night. Coach Lewis was a member of the Cornerstone Global Methodist Church in Alexander City. He was known for his love of Sylacauga, his love for America, and his love for sports. And his fellow American, Coach Earl Lewis, will be remembered this morning at 11 a.m. from Curtis and Son Funeral Home. Patrick Johnny Kilgrove died at the age of 74 on November the 18th. Graveside service will be held at Oak Ridge Cemetery in Pell City, November 22nd, beginning at 11 a.m. Kilgrove Funeral Home in Pell City in charge of the arrangements. Deborah Haston Hurt, age 69, died on November the 18th. She spent her life in her beloved hometown of Sylacauga. The graveside service for Deborah will be at Evergreen Memorial Cemetery at 1501 Talladega Highway on November 21st at 1 p.m. The service will be officiated by the Reverend David Vick, Curtis and Son Funeral Home, North Chapel, directing. Kenneth Lum Owens, age 77, died on Tuesday, November the 18th. Funeral ceremony in his honor will be at noon Friday at Ursery Funeral Home in Talladega, with Scotty Gurley officiating. The family receiving friends at the funeral home 1 hour prior to the service. Interment in the Midway Memory Garden Cemetery. Mr. Owens was a native of Talladega. He proud to have served in the Army National Guard. He was a member of the Emmanuel Baptist Church, where he served as an elder and oversaw the grounds and maintenance. Ursery Funeral Home in Talladega in charge of the arrangements. Thomas Reed Alexander, age 77, lifelong resident of Pell City, died November 18th. He attended the University of Alabama School of Law, passed his bar exam, a milestone he cherished. His family will gather for a private graveside service. In lieu of flowers, donation can be made to Lakeside Hospice in recognition of their tremendous care they provided to the family and continue to provide to the community. Ursery Funeral Home in Pell City in charge of the arrangements for Thomas Reed Alexander, age 77. He served at one point as the CEO and chairman of the board at Union State Bank. Lee Mann died at the age of 51 on November 17th. Mr. Mann was a resident of Sylacauga. Visitation at Radney Smith Funeral Home on November 22nd from noon until 2. Funeral service to follow at 2 in the chapel. Burial in the Fayetteville Cemetery, Radney Smith Funeral Home directing. Robert Bob Byron Haston died November 15th at the age of 90, a resident of Sylacauga. It will be a funeral service, graveside service, private service with his family at Mount Moriah Baptist Church Cemetery in Weguffka. Curtis and Son Funeral Home with the local arrangements. Janie Crawford Arthur, age 83 of Pell City, died November the 16th. On Friday, November 28th, the family will receive friends at 1 o'clock at St. Simon Peter Episcopal Church, with a memorial service beginning at 2. In lieu of flowers, please send donations to the St. Simon Peter Episcopal Church, Kilgrove Funeral Home in Pell City, in charge of the arrangements. Betty Ann Simmons, age 88, died on November 16th. Celebration of Betty's life will be today at noon from Kilgrove Funeral Home in Pell City. The station at 11, service at noon, with interment in the Forest Crest Cemetery in Irondale. Betty was a resident of Pell City and a registered nurse for many years. Kilgrove Funeral Home, Pell City directing. Celebration of life for Dorothy Ann Battle, age 75, is today at noon from Tallahatchie Missionary Baptist Church in Childersburg. Pastor Frederick Jemison is the eulogist. Interment in the Tallahatchie Missionary Baptist Church Cemetery in Childersburg. Community Funeral Home Sylacauga in charge of the arrangements. Funeral service for Jerry Lee Lackey of Munford. Memorial service will be held in his honor at 10 o'clock Sunday at his Answer Ministries Church in Munford, where Mr. Lackey was the minister there. He's a graduate of Munford High School and a pastor of his Answer Ministries Church, Ursery Funeral Home, Talladega directing. Mr. Danny Green, age 65, died November 7th at Coosa Valley Medical Center. Celebration of life will be announced at a later date. Celebration of life and memorial service for Melinda Sue Smith, age 59, will be Saturday, December 6th at 1 p.m. at Community Center in Mount Olive in the Goodwater area. Community Funeral Home in charge of the arrangements. Marvin Eddie Harris died November 14th at the age of 70. Visitation for Mr. Harris will be November 21st, 9 until 10 at Kilgrove Funeral Home in Pell City. Funeral service at 10 will follow in the chapel. Graveside service take place in the Oak Ridge Cemetery in Pell City, also on November 21st. Kilgrove Funeral Home in Pell City in charge of the arrangements. Jeanette Baker Clifton died November the 17th. And Jeanette was a member of the Sylacauga First United Methodist Church. For over 30 years, she was a member of the Columbiana United Methodist Church, where she worked as a church secretary for many years. Memorial service will be held on Friday, November 21st at 10:30 in the Good Shepherd Chapel at Fairhaven. That's the Methodist Homes of Alabama and Northwest Florida community located in Birmingham. Reverend Dr. Steve West will officiate. The family will receive friends beginning at 10 a.m. Graveside service followed later in the day at 2 p.m. here in Sylacauga at Evergreen Memorial Cemetery. In lieu of flowers, a family request donation be made to the Fairhaven Fountain of Love Fund. And Sarah Webb Shaw. That service was held yesterday in Sylacauga under the direction of Brother Brian Jones. Radley Smith Funeral Home was in charge of the arrangements. These obituaries this morning brought to you by Curtis and Son Funeral Home, the North Chapel on Highway 21 in Sylacauga, and the Childersburg Chapel on Highway 280 in Childersburg.